Okay, this video might surprise you because when to use a T or Z critical value. Hey, you've never heard, I've never even mentioned a T critical value, have I? Well, yeah, that's correct, I have not. However, I've left some information out too, and this is the time to bring it up. Now, with a Z critical value, a couple things are going on. We either have a large sample, N is bigger than 30, which means the standard normal table is accurate, or we have sigma and a normal distribution, and we have sigma, which means the standard normal table is accurate. Now, when we're missing those things, we got a problem. Like, for example, suppose we didn't have the population standard deviation. Instead, we had a sample standard deviation. Well, for any particular population, you get two different samples. Their sample standard deviations are going to be different. Any two you get, they're going to be different. Because of that, there's a little bit more fluctuation. And we're working toward confidence intervals. So there's going to be a little bit more fluctuation in how wide they need to be. And what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to widen them a little bit because of that fluctuation. Now, when our sample size is large, we don't have to worry about that. And when they're small, and we know sigma, we don't have to worry about it if the distribution is normal. But when we don't know sigma, we got to take care of that additional fluctuation. That may be a little bit confusing. Let's go through this. I've set up a flow chart. So let's look at this. Suppose N is bigger than 30. Right away, we know that the standard normal distribution table is going to be true. Right away, we know that this table is accurate because N is bigger than 30. We're going to use a Z critical value, which I've already shown you. I've erased them. They were up here on the board. I've erased them, but you've seen them. Or at least I've seen a few values of them. There's a lot more. Okay, suppose N is not bigger than 30. Is the data approximately normal? If it's not normal, you're out of luck. This table is bad. This table is not representative. Your data will not be on this table if you don't have that. Suppose it is normal. If it is normal, well, then maybe we still could use this table. Is sigma known? If sigma is known, we know the standard deviation of the population, and there is no additional fluctuation in the data. We can use a Z value. We can use this table. But what if sigma isn't known? Then we have to use the sample standard deviation, which fluctuates a little bit. Therefore, we have to use the T table, and the T critical value is going to be a little bit larger than the Z critical value. Now, what that leads us to, and let me grab it right quickly, is this table right here called the T distribution. Now, I'm going to give you a little bit of a heads up on it. All those Z values that we were talking about, they're the bottom row right here where it says infinity. Those are the numbers we've been using. You may recognize there's 1.645, 1.96, 2.756. Those are numbers that we've used. Now, on the next video, how to read this table, you'll learn that the numbers inside here are our T critical values. And that video will show you how to read this table. But the big difference is, the big thing is, look at this flow chart. When N is bigger than 30, everything's fine. With the standard normal curve, you use a Z value. The data is approximately normal, and you know sigma, then the standard normal table is good. You use a Z critical value. If it's normal and you don't have a fixed sigma, it can vary, then you got to use this adjusted value, which is a T. And as I pointed out, these numbers, if you look at them, as you go from the, get real close, as you go from the top down, the numbers get smaller and smaller and smaller. That's because as your sample size gets bigger and bigger and bigger, you're approaching the standard normal curve much quicker and quicker and quicker. So therefore, this number gets smaller and smaller and smaller, and it approaches this value. But this is a bigger value because of two things. One, N is not bigger than 30, and there's some fluctuation because of this sample standard deviation. Okay, that's where I'm going to stop this. Please watch the video on how to read the T table, And then I'll give you a few examples of how to do a confidence interval using the t critical value.